One of the most interesting days in GME land today. We saw no real price movement, but right at the start of the day, we saw a jump straight to 199, then followed by a halt of both AMC and GME. Why I think this is extraordinarily interesting is because this was not a catastrophic move. We saw bigger moves than this yesterday, followed by no halt. So why is it that both AMC and GME got halted? To me, I think this really could cause some trickle down effects because the little guys are seeing this and be like, what the fuck? Even let's say some of the bigger guys, they're not fully sold on any of the evidence, but when they continuously see more and more smoke building up, like the halting of a stock that just moved $10, which is really not much at all. It is, I think, going to potentially cause a lot more FOMO in the shorter term, which could cause inevitably a MOAS type event.
Yeah. So the way I would kind of think about it is that, as I said yesterday, I think it is in the short's best interest to manage the psychology of retail. I think they're also very good at managing the psychology of retail. I kind of keep that in the back of my mind. But as far as the actual halt goes, yeah, I've seen the posts, I've seen the screen captures. There's an old axiom that says, never ascribe to malice that which you can explain through stupidity. And actually, in this particular situation, even though I do love my tinfoil hat, my guess is that it was probably more of a market issue. Or back up, when I say market issue, I don't think that there was some, preconceived notion or plot or whatever, right, in order to do a halt. Rather, I suspect what might have happened is that if there was some initial surge that created a volatility spike, and the volatility spike overwhelmed, and this is what PyFi said on his stream, if the volatility spike overwhelmed the ask side of the order book for that, then all of a sudden you get this very awkward situation. Again, as PyFi accurately noted, and I would concur with him on this, that the exchanges and the clearinghouses actually want to temporarily suspend trading. So I would say that action doesn't necessarily strike me as odd, but here's what does strike me as odd. Number one, why is it always the same problem children when it comes to the stocks? Whenever there's an issue, it is more often than not the same problem children. So there's that. And the second thing goes back into managing the psychology of the situation. Again, if you look at sentiment, I'm no mind reader or anything like that, but there's a lot of pissed off people. And this is the catch. Let's just say that this was an honest issue. The system was working exactly the way it was intended. There was no malicious. Let's just assume that for a second. Even if that's the actual state of what happened, the objective state of what happened, as long as retail perceives it as a slight, as long as retail perceives it as a shenanigan or some underhanded play, it's going to enrage retail. And don't get me wrong, greed is a powerful emotion, fear is an even more powerful emotion, but revenge and anger, that's even more powerful, I think, than the prior two. So my point is, just to put a bow on this, if the shorts had the goal of wanting to smack down retail psychology and fragment retail psychology, I do not think the best way to do that is to piss off retail. And again, I'm not saying that this was unintentionally, but intentional or not, I think this is going to have the net effect of pissing off retail. Pissed off retail is going to be angry retail. Angry retail is going to be a unified retail. Let's see how it plays out.
And some more things we saw this morning was people getting notifications of their options being in the money at 350. I'm pretty sure it got all the way up to 350 on AMC. It was similar type numbers of massive increases.
Yeah, Josh, just to cut in for a second, I think, I didn't grab the screen cap, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone was reporting their 5-10 April calls were in the money. So if so,
This was just happening on multiple exchanges and to many, many people. Why is it that these glitches happen for these few names? Again, it is just these same problem children, as Justin continuously says. It just shows more and more things bubbling up under the surface.
And let's just say this wasn't a glitch. Let's just say the system actually worked exactly the way it was supposed to. In other words, okay, there's no liquidity on I always get this screwed up. There's basically no more sellers left in the market. And so you just have this runaway price spike. And so what you actually logically want to do is halt the system. Well, I think we were halted for 5 minutes, Josh? About 5 minutes, give or take, is what I seem to recall. Don't quote me on that. The point, though, is that let's just say that was completely normal. Why is it that the stocks that tripped the circuit breaker were GME and AMC. That suggests, again, more evidence or more smoke, as I like to say. So again, don't necessarily, for myself, I don't necessarily focus on, there's, a shadowy, there might be, but let's just say there's not a shadowy cabal running around, trying to do this level of manipulation. I do think manipulation is going on, but I don't think it's quite to that level. So anyways, one of the things, again, this is just, me, pulling it out of my ass here, but like my suspicion is that you'd see a bump up on Monday, maybe a bump up on Tuesday. Obviously, we saw a big bump up on Monday. We saw a big bump on Tuesday. We think we kind of crashed back down. Oh, not crashed back down. We drifted back down. We were pushing back towards 185, almost flirting with 190, and then they smacked us back. I think we closed at 176, mid 170s is what we closed at. But from my perspective, I was able to deal with my short-dated calls at a profit. I was able to put in quite a few orders for new calls coming in, and so I was quite pleased with how this happened. And again, I will just simply note, if retail is now enraged even more so, then you might see again this I would say FOMO. What's anger FOMO? It's like anger stat. Like it's just like, or whatever. You might have anger overriding otherwise fear to get people to pop out. But either way, if we see another consolidate, or not consolidation, but if we see another build up at whatever the strike. Last week the battle was at 150. To close at 150 to drag options into the money. I don't know what the battle will be at the end of this week, but if a similar situation arises, I see that as only being in our favor. And more importantly, if retail sees, let's say 2 out of 2 now that they can do this, then it's kind of like
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Where if it works once, great, I'm going to do it again. If it works a second time, great, I'm going to do it again. And all my buddies are going to do it with me. So
Yeah.
we have a bunch of people, a bunch of Lemingtons just flocking all their money, just jumping off the cliff into these options because it worked last time. It's going to work the next time.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and this is
just me and Justin are lemmings as well.
Yeah. Another thing too is like the irony of the situation is that everyone in this case limiting themselves into options or filming into options, it actually might create the very conditions that are, or it might help accelerate or provide a catalyst to the very condition that's needed, to get the rocket to launch. But anyways, yeah, very interesting. And it's all psychological, or from my standpoint, I think the psychological angle is very, very interesting.
And you can see this, the fluctuations. Yesterday, we went from people being extremely happy and greedful to today being angry and enraged and saying, I'm not selling no matter what. I'm in fact going to buy more because fuck you guys. You're going to do this shit to me. Fuck you. I'm going to buy more. Instead of the greed taking over, it's the anger. And it is powerful, as Justin was saying.
Yeah. And here's another silver lining from this. So this actually rolled back. Oh yeah, I'll classify this as a silver lining. So they turned off the buy button last year, and everyone looked around at that and everybody knew what was going on. It was a secret that wasn't a secret. But now that they've already played that card, look at retail's response this time around to, I would say, let's just assume this past, what happened this morning was completely innocent. It was the system working exactly as it was designed to work. No shenanigans were being played. Let's say that was the intent behind it. But look at the response, the unified response from retail. Can you imagine the outcry if they try to turn off the buy button again, or if there's some other system glitch? I would say this, in a strange way, the fact that we went through the shenanigans back in January of 2021.
I saw more than just retail talking about this. Big names, a lot of people that are not in the space were tweeting about it. Chris Martinson, who I've met and have a great deal of respect for, and some others were some big names were saying, hey, this is just hey, SEC, what the fuck's going on right now? Why is it these two names?
Yeah.
And I think the more and more this happens, the bigger and bigger it's going to get. Them trickling down and refusing to take the Mr. Margin is going to end up, I think, making this get much bigger than it ever needed to be and putting catastrophic implications on the rest of the market with it. Today, we saw the 2s, 10s invert the yield curve, and this has only happened followed by recessions. There's nearly a 100% probability that we go into a recession within the next year to 2 years. So if we are seeing these tough times ahead, what do you think that could happen, Justin?
Yeah, so the point is you've got these, very powerful, very predictive market or large macroeconomic signals suggesting that, bad times are ahead. My guess is the way we tie into GME is that if part of the margin position that's being maintained is made up of various collateral inequities, stocks, bonds, or whatever, right? If the value of these become impaired, then my guess is that the margin capacity would be impaired. An impaired margin capacity, theoretically, I think could mean less ability for the shorts to maintain and accurately manage their short, or accurately warehouse their short interests on very, 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 very high level. So
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much all that's going on today. I'm very interested to see how the rest of the week plays out, as I'm sure as everybody else. So, guys, thank you for the support, and
Oh,
we'll see. Oh,
yeah, and just one more thing, guys. Like I said, remember, I really don't think they want us retailers figuring out the option cycle. So again, like expect the games, expect the shenanigans, expect the halts, and expect things to come out of like left and right field that you never thought of. Just mentally prepare yourself for it. Mentally prepare yourself for it. That's all.
see you, my friends, on the next.